Hi folks, Scott's Bob again, back at the Vice, and this one's for you sedge boys that were coming up to know the sedges and the hot summer's nights, and the sedges are dancing about and laying eggs and mating and carrying on. This is for a take on an sedge that I use. Now, it was originally tied to be used in as like an unsinkable fly on ruffle rivers, and I used it just the same time. I used it to some success, and when I was in Coalland, I was fishing at Laneshaw when the sedges were on dancing about and doing a bit of laying. I used this pattern to great effect. Now in the Vice I've got a Caddis B110 size 12. It's slightly curved, not too bad. Just tighten it up. And onto that I'm going to run some black thread. Just give me a second to turn on my overhead light, because I haven't got the light on for the lighting. I don't know whether that's on the better, but anyway, it's on now. I'm just going to run some thread onto the hook. This is this extreme thread I've been using. I don't know what kind it is. Extreme power thread, black, SPTM1, 100 metres. It's about £8, but it's very, very strong. I would say it's not ideal for tying this type of fly. I'll tell you why. Albeit I'm going to do it anyway. It's very, very sharp. So where you're tying with foam, I like to use a 140 denier, where it's not in with a big shouter. Actually, cutting through the foam when you got it on, because we're going to be putting foam onto this fly. And I just run the thread down to the bend and snip off the excess. There. And then I want to put some of this onto it, and this is Opal Mirage tinsel. I had a bit lying about, but I don't know what I've done with it, so I'll need to take another bit off. Typical Scotsman, I don't want to be wasting stuff. Albeit that's a fallacy. Anyway, let's tie it in here and take it round the bend slightly. That should be enough. And then nice even turns all the way back up, so you can get a nice even base for your tinsel to come back up. Now, I'm not going too near the head. I have enough of a habit of crowding the head, so I'm going to leave a good space there. In fact, I'll run the thread up to the top first, out the way, so I can do the tinsel, and then I'm going to run it back, because I have enough of a habit of crowding the head, and it makes it so much more difficult to get the rest of the flies on. And not just this fly, every fly. You need to leave space that you can work with. And then you don't get into the mess of, I can hardly get this on here, I can't get this hackle round about, it's covering them. And then you tie them and you think, that's lovely, and you go to the river or the reservoir and you say, I'll try that new fly I've tied, and you take it out and you can't get a bit of nylon through it, because the bloody hell, the hook's too crowded, or it's been gunged up with varnish or epoxy resin. So I've took it up to the head. I just unwrap it a wee bit there. Just let me, it's only a couple of turns, but I want to finish it where I finished it there. Just gotta grip it and tie it off. And then bring your thread back a wee bit with the head to give yourself plenty of room. There's no sense in crowding it out and then you're struggling, as I said. Now, before we're going to further with this one, once we trim this off with my curved scissors, we need to protect that, because it will, hopefully, because you're catching trout, their teeth will damage it, and your tinsel will unwind, and then that fly's no good to it. So a wee bit of a box of resin. Don't have it in lumps on it, the same as I've just put in there. Now, just get the torch. The torch that all. I've got a bit stuck in the edge of my vise. I don't know, we'll sort that after. That's fine. It makes it shine a bit more shinier. And as I said, it protects the tinsel. Hopefully for the trouts that you're going to catch with it, protect it for their teeth. Anyway, that's that. Now the next thing we want to do is cut a bit of foam. And it's just flat. This is 1.5mm flat tan type foam. And I'm just going to cut a wee tiny bit of foam. I'll cut a bit off and then I'll show you how much I'll cut. That's all I've cut. A wee bit of foam. And then you want to trim the end into a point. Like so. Now you're going to put it on here. And you're going to have it sticking just past the bend of the hook and crisp it, see where your eye is, and then get a couple of really soft turns on it just to hold it in place there, because this is where the danger's fraught, that you cut through the foam with this type of fly, with this type of thread that I'm using. So you just, once you've got one or two turns on there, you can tighten it up slightly. And that should hold it. Now what we need to do now, and I'll tell you a bit about cutting these foams. See, when you're cutting foam, do not cut it with your good scissors because it will blunt them. Believe it or not, it blunts them. This is an old pair of scissors that I blunt it and couldn't understand what they were brand new. They cost me about 14 quid and they just went knacker. And I seen somebody on the internet saying, do not cut your foam, any foam, with your good scissors because it blunts them, which I didn't know. So I just tie it down and that's it in position. Then what you want now is a piece of white rayon. Just a wee piece of white rayon. I think this is for sighting. It's maybe not absolutely necessary, but I'm just only tying the fly to the pattern that I seen was tied. I think it's an American tire that does it. The boys use a lot of foam, etc. We're more traditional in Britain. We use less foam, but I think we've got to start looking at some of these ties that they're doing in America and other places, because these foam flies work. I've got some foam floating fry patterns, and they seem to, they're doing the business. I'm catching a few fish with them, and it wasn't me that tied the pattern. It was somebody else in my fishing club, and I got the tying off them. And just trim that, say, just slightly longer than the foam, and just tied it up here, and get your thread back to there. Because what you're going to do now, just say that's okay, that's fine, there the back, that's fine. What we're going to do now is, if I can find it, my stacker, I'm going to use some elk here. In this case, this is junior elk. Which difference it makes, I don't know, but it's just a bit of elk here. I'm suppose any deer here would use, but this was for the original tying, so I thought I'll tie it with the original tying stuff, which is elk here. Maybe they can get elk here easier in America than we can here. So I'll cut a wee bit of elk here off, and that's all I'm cutting off, just a wee bit like that, and you need to put it into your stacker. Point down. Point it down, and then that way stacker. Get rid of the stuff that you don't want. Some of the stuff hanging out here. Right, that's part of the fly. I've just stacked the elk here, I'm just offering it up to the fly and just make it slightly longer than the foam rubber, and catch it in very quietly with two nice wee slow turns, and then move it up, nice wee gentle turns. You don't want to be flaring it up like that. When it's near the top, you can flare it up and tie it down, and really tie it in. Make sure you've got a good grip. You don't want it to be slipping. So we'll go back to there. Now we can just trim off the excess. Just trim it off, pull it back, and tie it in. And tie it back a bit, because you want to put a wee couple of turns of a hackle in there. Just get these, the ones that you don't like, just pick them off. If you don't like them, pick them off. My flies are not perfect. You all know that they catch trout, and that's our ultimate aim, isn't it? Just to catch trout. So hopefully you try this one out, and it catches you a few trout. Just tie in. Turn it up. I look for my hackle plat on that. Got a nice couple of turns of hackle in it. 1, 2, 3. That should do it, I think. Just let it hang there and get the thread through the hackle to grip it in. And then get the hackle, break it off, and then tie it back in. Start with it. The hook side and tie it up and put a wee bit of a head on it. Not too big. That should be enough, I think. There's a couple of wee bits sticking out there I don't like. That's it. Now I just need my whip finish tool, if I can find it. There it's there. A couple of wee whip finishes to it. And that's us. And that's my take on the sedge, the foam sedge. It's got a foam body, an Elkdale wing, a brown saddlecock hackle and a wee black head. And that's it. Now, I hope you enjoyed that and get it tied up for these sultry summer months that are just round the corner, or here with us now in July. I would say it's not that warm at night, but it will get better and the sedges will appear. It's the same as they do every year. So again, thanks for watching, and tight lines.